I think that general expectations beyond sort of specific problems would include an enthusiasm for the subject, of course, regardless of the specific projects. And the subject might be architecture, it might be design, it might be creativity of some sort. So that would be, I suppose, an expectation. An expectation might be an understanding on the part of the student that simply fulfilling assignments is not sufficient.
You know, if you're taking a class, you always hope that that you didn't just take it because you couldn't think of something else to do, that you took it because you had some kind of interest. And I always try to make a project or assignments and stuff where people have the opportunity to focus on something they're really interested in. And it's funny, you know, you think that would be like, that students would be like, oh great, now I have the chance to do exactly what I want. But students have a lot of trouble deciding what they want to do something more in. And I've never quite figured out if that's because they're not really interested in it at all, or because it's just that there's so many possibilities that they have trouble making up their mind. I always try to hope it's the latter.
I think in the end, students have to be motivated. And I think in the end, they have to be responsible for times when they're not motivated and finding ways in which they can get motivated.
I think that fulfillment and contentment and things like that are necessary components of creative education, but I don't think that you necessarily achieve those with a big smile on your face. Maybe you do. Maybe some people do. But I don't think that that's a necessity, no.
I don't think I would be here if I wasn't enjoying it.
I'm not going to waste tons of money a year to do something I don't want to do.
If you didn't enjoy it, then you wouldn't want to do it. There's too many hours that has to get put into stuff that, you know, if you don't want to do it, you wouldn't.
I think successful is, for me, something you can be proud of, and you know, it isn't about your review. And you know, if you're the type of person who wants to go into practice or wants to have like this awesome portfolio, maybe it's the quality of presentation. But for me, I think it's just something that you know you put everything into, and the thought's there. You know, I think that as long as the thought's there, maybe the presentation isn't 100% or, you know, the product isn't 100%, but if the thought's there and you're proud of it, then I think that's success.
If you're not happy with what you did, obviously you're not going to feel successful.
Obviously, it comes a lot for, like, if you get a good grade on it, you're going to think it was successful, but, like, you have to be kind of happy with it, too. Because I know there's been projects that I thought I was really happy with, but then the grade wasn't good, so it made me less happy with it. Or there's a project where, you know, I got a really good grade, so I'm not going to complain, but I look at it as, like, but I could have done better.
I hope that I express a deep joy in what I'm doing, even when it's hard.
I think it's a trend to have fun in school. I don't think that everybody's always had fun in school.
It's not really a party. There's a lot of work in it.
Sometimes you have to, everybody else wants to go out and have fun, but sometimes you have to kind of limit yourself with that aspect and just know that you have a project to get done. And
some of it I really enjoy, and some of it's just really frustrating and tedious and a lot of work.
It's difficult and challenging, and sometimes it's not my favorite and it gets aggravating, but overall, yeah, it's really cool to see the end results.
If you give a student maybe more than even seems reasonable, that a lot of them are challenged by that, and not all of them will be challenged by it, but a lot of them are, and so it pushes them to you know, do more iterations or to go further. And I think students like to be challenged. You know, I think they appreciate being given something that's, you know, tough to do.
It's like a carrot on a stick, right? It's the same with grades. If you hold the carrot out too far and the student is myopic and can't see that far, they're just going to get lost, right? But if you hold it too close, they're just going to reach out there and grab it and eat it. You can't have that.
Some of my friends have like that aren't in design. They're just like, I don't know what you're doing. Like, I'm so glad I'm not in design. So that you can see like not everybody has the patience for design, and some people just don't. I guess don't get it. So
I've realized that there are going to be kids who want to go all out, and then there are kids who are just, they may not be doing all out, but they're sort of doing the best they can. And then, you know, there are a few that are sort of like, well, let's see, what's the least amount of work I can do and get by with? Those are the students I have the most trouble with.
Actually, right now I'm in a printmaking class, and I'm just in here taking a break from printmaking class. So I'm in here as much as I possibly can because I enjoy it.
I have a couple of friends who are doing textile and design, and their lab closes at 9 o'clock. If this place closed at 9 o'clock, we'd be pulling our hair out, because you absolutely, almost have to live here to get your work done. I see kids, well, not kids, but I see students, up here until 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, this is serious.
I argue with my brother about this all the time, because I'm like, oh my god, I'm so tired, I work so much, and I complain about it, and he's like, he's an engineering student, and he's like, I don't know why you're complaining so much. We have just as much work to do, blah, blah, blah. But it's different, because what your end product is going to be, because you're working towards something you can be proud of, and there's no right answer. Like, it's a lot more, it's a lot more, you fight with yourself a lot more, and that takes time. And then on top of it, the physical making of things takes a lot of time. So whereas design is really time consuming to get to an answer that you don't know what is, engineering, it's like maybe you use a lot of brain power and it's challenging, but there's a right answer at the end of it. And so I'd say it's a lot of work.
There are multiple distractions available in today's world. There were when I was a student too. It really hasn't changed that much. And you make choices. And one of the choices that I talk about making is that for right now, you will be able to do everything but not all at the same time. So you will be making choices. And I have to say this a number of times.
I love every project, like everything we're doing, but that's not the only thing I love, so I have to have other things.
I think that some people get away from the fact that you can have like a social life in design too. Like I know a lot of us just get together and we work on our projects, that we can just like bask in that we're all struggling with this, but it's okay because we can still have that time to goof off while still working on our projects.
You can get feedback from other majors, other disciplines, see what they feel, see if they have thoughts for improvement, because we might not always be the correct answer. We might not always have the correct answer. And maybe somebody has a better fit solution for our problems.
Design's very subjective, and your opinion is not always everyone else's opinion.
I feel that we, in the College of Design, there's different expectations that our instructors have of us to be a bit more creative than just coming up with, well, here's an answer that fits the criteria. Like, what are other ways you can get to that answer?